because you have multiple platform trainings and the way you had it set up, it really made it consumable for me, like I said, and it made me confident in knowing, okay, I can dig into social media because that's where my offer is right now, and I can learn it. And then if I decide I don't like it, I can shift, and that content's still there, the learning content's still there to back me.
Beginning of my unicorn digital marketing assistant school, like the trainings and everything. And Elizabeth kept like hinting, I got a sister. And I'm like, no, she could just take the course.
You know, she talked me into it, and I took your course, and it actually made me feel like, okay, my brain started working. I felt like, okay, maybe I can do this the way that it was laid out. I felt like the bite-sized lessons on you can know everything, but you can start with one thing was really promising to me. But the way I consumed it made it doable. And then it made me feel like I can just start with Pinterest. And that's easy, and I can do that. And then if I wanted to grow, there was room for growth when my home life was able to allow that.
Talk to me about this drive in you. Did you need something for yourself, or what was it about you? Because some people could just be content not doing this.
Well, I do want to work and I want to contribute. I think I had a hard time not contributing, even though, yes, I'm contributing. I felt like even though there's no pressure there or anything, that's something I just felt like I wanted to contribute to.
What does this job bring you? Like, why, like, is it fun for you? What are you doing with the money? How has your life changed? Like all of the questions.
You want to know all of it? No,
I do.
I really enjoy, like I said, when I started taking your course, like my brain turned back on. And it wasn't like it was off. It was just tapping into something that I hadn't tapped into for so long, because I've always been in the medical field or just like, you know, night jobs or what I could do here and there. And so it really, I mean, it allowed me personal growth that I just haven't had the opportunity to foster very much. And so that's what I really love about it. Let's see. I think that the financial freedom's really been helpful, especially with my husband recently retiring. It wasn't like a huge rush or stressor for him to immediately find another position after retirement.
Well, that's so cool. You've been able to take your job with you though, like through all of these transitions, because that's what I'm picking up on, like transitions and having something stable for yourself and for your income.
I mean, it really is giving more stability to the income and then through the transitions. What I really love about this type of work too, and then also being my own business owner, is I can kind of set my own schedule and I can work when I need to work, and I can also, you know, work around my schedule. So when there is a transition, I can actually participate in my family life and then go back to work life when I can't need to. You know, I like that freedom too.
But what were some of those very first tasks that you got?
So I started just doing Pinterest and blogging. And so it was just a weekly blog and then Pinterest to go along with it to market a few people. And then I did dabble in some Facebook pages, and I'm happy not to be on a ton of social media right now. I loved that I could schedule social media, and I loved the freedom of that, and it really worked for my schedule at that time. But now that I have a little bit more freedom in my schedule currently, I'm happy to be doing more website work than social media work.
So many people think my course is about being a social media manager. I'm like, no, it's like time and grade. Like you get a quick little bump of it and learn if you like it. But most of my students, most of our unicorns don't focus on social media.
Well, and that's what I really loved about your course was because you have multiple platform trainings and the way you had it set up, it really made it consumable for me, like I said, and it made me confident in knowing, okay, I can dig into social media because that's where my offer is right now and I can learn it. And then if I decide I don't like it, I can shift and that content's still there, the learning content's still there to back me up. So when that did happen, I knew I could just go back to your course and learn the information I needed and pick up on a new, course. There were a few of my clients who just really were in high growth rate for their own businesses, and they gave me the opportunity to grow with them, which I really have enjoyed.
And what I love about your story is that's exactly what I teach in the Unicorn Digital Marketing Assistant School, to get in and level up. And you've done that. And now one of your clients is very well known. She's doing really well in her business. And I've seen you come back into our group and hire out of our group to continue with your team.
For sure. I have sourced multiple people from your group. They're my coworkers now. I consider your work group my coworkers. It's nice to go in there and have conversations and everything, but at the same time, I go in there knowing that what training they have and that they have the resources and that they also have a group to rely on for any questions.
So where did you get this client? Where did you get this dream client?
References. So I originally started with Emily giving me a client, not giving me, but you go to the work group and you bring a lot of potential clients in there. There's always job opportunities that you bring in, and I reached out to a few of them and they stuck, and then those clients have referred me inside of their community to other people too. So I not only get work from your group, but I get work from references too.
So what would you say to someone who's just starting out in this journey?
I mean, just do it is what I like to tell people, because it doesn't hurt to try. And I learned so much about not only this whole community of people that I wasn't 100% aware of, but also I learned more about myself.
So do you think you could have done this on your own?
No, I would. Not only was I not aware of it, but I think that I needed the structure of a course to fall back on, like I said, to take it in the bite sizes that I needed at the time, to be able to go back and reference it if I needed to. And then I know also, because I am in your work group, that I have you in my pocket. If I need it, I can go to that work group and talk to any of the other members, and we can get feedback from each other and work through things if we need to.
What kind of person is going to have success and be a good freelancer and a good teammate?
I think that wanting to learn new things is important. Wanting to continue to grow as a person, like personally and professionally, I think is important.
Do you feel like you have to have a marketing background to be competitive this day and age?
I don't have a marketing background, so I'm gonna say no. I think that if you want to learn new things and you take the opportunity to learn, then you can be successful.
What was your favorite module?
I like SEO. And so that was a really fun one for me. I think it even changed how I Google things myself in my personal life. I'm like, I know how to get the answer I need now because of how I understand SEO.
So are you getting hunted down by clients? Like, are you turning clients away?
So, okay, can we talk about what Allison doesn't do? Allison doesn't take care of her own business. That's definitely something I'd say, like if I could start over again, I would jump in the way I did. I jumped in without a Facebook page. I jumped in without a website. I jumped in without anything. I got clients and I started working, and it grew fast when I was able to take that on. I was really slow at first and only did 15 hours a month, I think, was what I was contracted to do for a very long time. And then when my time permitted, I was able to grow, and I grew fast.
So what would you say to moms who are juggling all the things? Like, what's your best advice for moms who are working at home in this type of role?
To take the course, because you teach it in consumable lessons. You can start with what clicks in that moment for you. Like I said, I was only doing 10 to 15 hours a month. It wasn't a lot of work, and I would sit down and schedule pins like 14 days at a time and not have to worry about it. I'd go on and check things occasionally, but the bulk of my work was like sitting down after bedtime, creating pins, which is graphic design, super fun for me. And then I got to play with SEO, so that was fun. And just to kind of dive into what's working for you at that moment, because when you have access to the course, then once you have access to all that information, you can access it when you have the availability, and then you can grow when you have that availability. And this line of work allows for that slow growth or fast growth, whatever's working for you at that moment.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. And it totally grows. It builds upon lesson, it's laid out to build. If it's too much, I just tell people, watch the strategy session, get the big picture, and know where you're supposed to go, and come back when it's time to either execute it, and then you can dive into all the sub lessons and the tech lessons later.
Right. And I did. I watched everything, but I really consumed what was clicking at that moment. And that gave me the ability to be like, oh, wait, I know there's a lesson on Kajabi in there. Or I know that there's a lesson on, email marketing. And so when, I didn't do email marketing for probably a year and a half, 2 years before I started doing email marketing for clients. And when I decided I have the capacity to do that now, and I can make that a part of my offerings, I was able to go back and watch that part of the course and then implement it.
Oh my gosh, that's so awesome.